How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another build video, and today we are going to be going over our Season 21 Ghoul Heavy Crit build. Now, if you've seen my crit video for Season 20 for my Ghoul, it is very similar, but we have added a couple new cards that were introduced with the fishing update. This build is very strong and also fairly tanky, and you can make some adjustments to fit your playstyle if that's something that you're interested in. So with that, let's get right into it. Now you can pause the video if you'd like, but this is the perk point distribution: 10 strength, 9 perception, 8 endurance, 3 charisma, 5 intelligence, 6 agility, and 15 luck. Now here are the perk cards that we're using. We're using all of our damage perk cards from strength to agility, luck, intelligence, but we also added a couple of the new cards in perception. We have Number Cruncher, which increases our damage by 2% per AP, and then Downranger that gives us a 20% additional damage from far range. Now this may counter the close range perk cards that we have in agility, but it balances out because if an enemy gets close to you, you'll get 20% damage. If an enemy is far from you, you'll still get 20% damage. Now I thought I would include this because questions will be raised with the power armor that I will be showing you guys here, but this is the build that I will be running and that I normally run personally. You'll notice that in strength we have level 3 lock and load instead of traveling pharmacy, we have no through hikers in endurance instead of chem fiend, and inside of luck we don't have class freak, instead we have bloody mess. And the reason for that is because I use the 3-star through hikers armor mod, and then I also retake my mutations to suppress the negative effects, which allows me to remove those 3 cards and replace them with other cards or use those points elsewhere. Now for the legendary perk cards, I usually use these 5 cards for every build that I post, and it is maxed out endurance, luck, intelligence, strength, and agility. Now for the 6th card, that is more of a personal choice and what fits your playstyle. For me, I like to use Take One for the Team for extra damage. For the mutations, I like to use Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Eagle Eyes, Egghead, Herbivore, Herd Mentality, Marsupial, Scaly Skin, and Speed Demon. For any new players who have stumbled upon this video, the reason why I like to use Herbivore over Carnivore is because of the crit buffs. The short way to put it, Carnivores have the better stat buffs, Herbivore has the better damage buffs. Now for our weapon, I'd like to use a Furious, faster fire rate, 35 less fats with the Pinpointers 4-star. Of course you can use a different 4-star if you'd like Polished. This build does work with Conductors because I do use a full set of Rejuvenators, and since we are using Furious, we have the Onslaught cards to increase our damage. For our weapon mods, I like to use the Prime, Stinging, and Accelerated Nozzle, and those might change depending on if the Splitter Barrel with different perk cards might be a better option, which I'll leave in the pinned comments if that's the case. Now if you are the type of player who prefers the Conductors over any other damage 4-star, this is the setup that I use for my Conductors set to get the infinite VATs and make it consistent. So we have Furious, faster fire rate, 35 less VATs, as well as the Conductors with the Prime, Swift, and Accelerated Nozzle. Now as I mentioned earlier, I do use the Rejuvenator set, which allows me to maintain and consistently use infinite VATs. I'll leave a link in the description of the video I posted earlier this week on how Conductors works. Now to start things off, to show that Conductors works, we will be using that weapon, although I did make a mistake and I wasn't at 33 luck because I don't have a teammate. But if you look at the AP bar, it does go down a little bit, but we're able to hold it for long enough just to break the shield. And as for the damage, we are also running this without any other buffs. No chems, no magazines, no bobbleheads, no food buffs or anything like that. This is just the raw damage from not only the weapon, but also our main damage weapon when it comes around. Now of course if I had all of that active, this would have been just a little bit faster. Now before anyone leaves a comment about the Shredder minigun, yes, I know that it's still very strong and can insta-melt this thing just as fast as it did, if not faster, this season. Now I think that was a pretty decent test to kind of show that Conductors is working perfectly fine, and now we're going to switch to our damage weapon and take out the Guardian. Which we'll skip ahead because it does take a little bit of time because I do not have any buffs, and we cleared it at 1 minute and 28 seconds, which is okay. Now let's go ahead and jump on over to the Snake. Again, we don't have any buffs. We're going to be retaking our Liver just so we have our 33 luck so we can crit every other shot as a solo player. Of course, you can use any camp items to get your luck up past the 33 threshold, but we have Charred Liver and retook our Herbivore, so we have that. And we're hitting for 1900, which is not too bad for our crits without any kind of buffs. Now we'll be getting a nice little boost in our damage because we just got smacked by him, and with the Science Monster perk card, our damage will scale for just a little bit, hitting for 2200 per crit. We're going to go ahead and skip ahead and show the kill, and we're hitting for 3k at the last 10%, clearing the snake at 1 minute and 6 seconds, which is not too bad solo. Now for those who are like me who like to use as many buffs as humanly possible, we're going to go ahead and use everything that we have available to us. So we'll be rocking our Big Guns bobblehead, and we'll be using one of the 3 magazines, Guns Bullets 9, Tesla 7, and Tesla 9. And the one that we're going to be using this time is going to be the Tesla 9 because I will be pulling out the Pepper Shaker. Now for our food buffs, we will be taking a Soothin' and a Sweet Mud Fruit Tea, and of course if I was in a team, the values of that will be a little bit higher than what you see here. Now I also like to pair this with a Pepper Shaker so I can clear the shield a lot faster than the Gatling Plasma, because even without the limb damage perk cards, I'll still be able to tear through the shield a lot faster. For the Pepper mods, we have Furious, Limb Damage, VATS Optimized, and Pinpointers, with the Sight and Hex Barrel. Now you'll be able to see a huge difference in how fast we're able to take out the shield with this Pepper Shaker, again without any of the proper perk cards to make it faster. And once we swap on over to the Gatling Plasma, we should be critting for around 2900. At least on the torso, about 400 on the shield battery. Now the Gatling Plasma's damage is a little bit noticeable in terms of the nerf that was applied to it, but with the right build and the right buffs, you'll be able to achieve close to what we used to do in the previous season. We're going to go ahead and skip ahead and show that we are able to clear this in 1 minute and 3 seconds, which is a little bit faster than the no buff version. Now onto the snake, same thing, we have all of our buffs active, and you'll be able to see the difference in how fast we can clear the snake once we use everything. Now even if you use just a couple buffs, like let's say the food and maybe a magazine, that's more than enough damage to see a pretty nice increase to your overall damage output. But just like that, before he does his first spit attack, we're already halfway through his HP. And of course, once I get hit, I'm able to scale my damage even higher for a few seconds. Now sadly, I really didn't have any toxic goos because I forgot to get some more, and I do believe I spammed the last bit of my charred liver to get a little bit of glow, so when I get hit, I can take advantage of my Science Monster perk card, which then gets us close to 5k crits. And just like that, solo 47 seconds with a Gatling Plasma, which is not too bad. And that about covers it, guys. I hope you found the information useful. Let me know your thoughts on the build. It's not the best build, I'm gonna make that clear. I will never claim that my builds are the best. They are very strong and they do work, but it may not fit the playstyle of many players, but it is also able to be changed to fit a playstyle or your playstyle very easily. But if you guys have any questions at all, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer as quickly as I can. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. As always, thank you so much for watching. Happy hunting, good luck, and I'll see you guys in the next one.